Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to talk about a service that I found early on in my trading career that enabled me to become the trader that I am today. When I first started trading, I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't want to have a lot of upfront risk for trading. I found that the best way to solve this problem was by using a prop account and risk someone else's money. Doing so allowed me to get better at trading with minimal risk, no matter how many accounts I blew. Even if you're an experienced trader and are confident you won't blow an account, the service can still enable you to trade with far more money than you might have access to normally. Before we get started, I'll leave several referral codes for trading services I use in the description, including Rocket Scooter, Elite Trader Funding, and TradingView that will give us both discounts. Lastly, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe to help me grow this channel. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. Now, the type of service I'm referring to is a prop account, and it's called Elite Trader Funding. You can see the URL up here, elitetraderfunding.com, and I have up their products page because I know a lot of people don't fully understand how these work, so I wanted to cover one, how they work, what the benefits are, and how they really changed a lot of things for me. So when I first started trading, I started out in options and I had about $3,000 that I was willing to work with, and I had a lot of initial success and then ended up getting hurt pretty bad, got a little too greedy, was still learning proper risk management and things like that. And I didn't blow the account, but I knew that I needed practice. And the problem was when I was paper trading, I didn't have any emotions. So that created an issue because it was very easy to paper trade and be successful because I wasn't working on the hardest part of trading, which was emotions. So I want to show that there's a happy medium here, and this is prop accounts basically. And this service is awesome. They have very fair rules, and that's how prop accounts work. I should mention one, it is futures trading. Now, if you're used to trading SPY, then you can certainly trade futures. You can do ES, which is mini futures, or what I would do with a small account. If you're just starting out with a small account, I would do micro ES, and these are basically, I have a whole video on the difference between trading futures and options. I actually find trading futures to be easier, and I'll talk about some of that here. Micro ES is $5 a point, which would be essentially about a if you chose an options contract with a delta of 50, if we were to ignore gamma, theta, and vega, because those don't apply in options and futures trading. But also I'll show you how you can be much more precise when you're futures trading, especially with limit orders, which is one thing I love about it. Plus you have better trading hours, better taxes. There's a lot of benefits to trading futures, and many people write it off because they think futures is harder, but actually options trading, it has a lot more variables that you need to account for that I find harder. Now, if we look at the evaluations, one thing I love about this service, they have one-step evaluations, and what that normally means, if you're using other services, sometimes you have to basically pass two evaluations, two tests to prove that you're a good trader before you get funded. Now, if you're new to this, I'd recommend starting with the 10K evaluation, which means they'll fund you $10,000 to trade with, and what you have to do to them is show that you can hit $1,250 in profit prior to losing $1,000 in drawdown. So then that's actually not too bad with micro futures. That's something that most people that are decent at trading should be able to accomplish relatively quickly. Now you can see here the price tag for this is 80 bucks, and that means $80 a month. However, I'll leave a coupon code in the description which will give you 50% off, and it might not be 50% off forever, but the coupon code I'll leave there will always match the very best deal that they're doing at the time, which is currently 50% off through August. Now, so if you do this, you would basically be paying 40 bucks a month, and that includes all your data fees and any add-ons you might use. And just to show you what I mean by that, one thing I love doing, this is my TradeAvate account, which I trade futures in. And one thing I love doing is going into add-ons and enabling the TradingView plugin. And we can see all these add-ons typically can cost some money. I mean, the ones here are free, but there are market depth and market data add-ons that are not showing here that do indeed cost money. And then the TradingView add-on also costs money. And all those are included with that fee that you're paying during in the evaluation. Now, so basically what that means is your max risk for this account would be $40 a month. Even if you blew it, even if you blew a $1,000 account 4 times in a row, your max risk would be $40 a month. And now if you hit your profit target, you all of a sudden are done your evaluation mode, and you get your 10K funding, and you still have drawdown limits. However, the first 100%, or excuse me, the first $12,500 you make with Elite Funded Trader. So let's say you get funded, they give you your 10 grand, and you work to bring it up to $22,500. You get to keep 100% of that. They don't take any of that. That's all yours. And then after that, you keep 80% of it and they keep 20% of it. And that's a huge benefit because you can then use that to build up your account and then maybe even go on to a bigger evaluation or help fund other trading accounts, whatever you might want to do. Like I use the money I get from my prop account to fund my options account. And what they want to do is they do have limits on how much you can pull out initially, which we'll go through these rules and talk about. But let me just get right into that. So you have to trade a minimum of 5 days. You can reset. So if you break a rule, if you blow your account early, you can reset for $75. However, you get one free reset a month. Basically, when your account renews, if you blew a rule, you just pay your normal $40 and they'll reset your account for you. And the rules are actually very fair. There's no reason why in one day you should be taking $1,000 worth of drawdown on an account this size, unless you're just YOLOing, which is not how we become successful in trading. Now let's say that's too small. We also have the $25,000 account with a $1,500 profit target initially and $1,500 in drawdown. You can do a $50K account, which is $3,000. And as you go to these bigger accounts, then you could start switching to minis instead of micros. So instead of $5 a point per contract, you're looking at $50 a point per contract if you're trading ES, or $20 a point if you're trading NQ. And they have all the way up to $300,000 accounts, which is fantastic because if you take this account, you can take massive trades. And you can see the profit target seems high at 20,000, but we can see here you're allowed to do 30 minis, which I just mentioned. Each mini is $50 a point, or 300 micros. Now it would make more sense to do minis because for every contract you open, there is a contract fee that gets taken out of the trade. So it's important to take that into account and trade larger contracts when you're trading this kind of money. And even if you don't want to do one-step evaluations, if you know you're a good trader and you can pass these things quick, which I know people out there like that. I actually am friends with a guy who was passed 2 of these in the past 2 days, which blew my mind. But or excuse me, 2 of these this past week. And so you can do the 25K track, where you basically at this point you have 14 calendar days to pass your evaluation. But as soon as you do, there's you're funded right away. There's no 5-day waiting period, and off to the races. You can also do end of day drawdown accounts, where basically instead of worrying about a daily loss limit, you do have a daily loss limit, but your drawdown is calculated end of day rather than this drawdown, which is calculated on a normal basis. So like, let's say you take 4 bad trades and you lost $250 each, which shouldn't happen on this small account, but just hypothetically, your account would instantly get locked out. Whereas if it was end of day drawdown, then you would have time to make that back and not get locked out. They also, if you like NinjaTrader, they include a free license key for that. And then so they have a bunch of options. I encourage you to look at the products page if you find this interesting. And then let's go to the other rules here. So as I mentioned, if you hit your drawdown, you do get locked, but you can reset to try again, or if your account allows for it, which most of them do, except for the fast track. But or you can just wait for your next monthly bill to come, and then you'll get reset. 5 days minimum on most of these, except for the fast track. And then when you go to take your payouts, they're basically trying to incentivize you to leave some money in there, because remember, they're risking their money. So when you do your first payout, there are first, second, third, and fourth payouts. There are limits on how much you can pull out based on the account size. However, by your 5th payout, and you should read this basically because it talks about how many calendar days you need to wait in between for each payout. But by your 5th payout, then you can just pull out whatever you want. But they're just trying to ensure that, okay, if you get funded with $10,000 and then you proceed to make $5,000, that they're pulling out what you can. They're limiting what you can pull out initially. That way they're reducing their risk as well, because you are risking their money once you're funded. When you're in the evaluation, it is technically a demo account that becomes a real funded account once you pass. And so Now, when I did this, you do get to select your futures broker that you want to use. I just want to talk about that briefly. So I like TradingView, and this is how I have my TradingView platform set up. I have the different contracts I trade up here. I look at the higher time frame stuff with more data, such as volume profile and everything on the right hand side, and then I just look at volume and price action on the left hand side on a lower time frame. And this is what I love about futures. So say if I wanted to take a short here, instead of having to buy puts when we came up to it, and the limit order not necessarily getting changed because of things like Vega and Theta that we have to account for, and it not being super precise, I can just go in and say, okay, sell limit, and then we have brackets so we can have stop losses and things and take profits built in. And then as soon as price would come up and hit this limit, it would put me in the trade, and then we would basically take profits at whatever point that I have set, or stop at whatever point I have set. And I usually like to give a 4-point stop, but I honestly, I usually like to base it off of a level. I like to ensure, but so we do have a level right here, so therefore I'd like to give it 4 points above this level. And in this case, I'm trading micro ES, but you could change that to regular ES here. You can change that to NQ, which is NASDAQ, or micro NQ. And so you have all these different contracts, and basically the U at the end of it represents the quarter. So we're in September, this will change from MESU2 to MESZ2. And so all we do is basically we pull up MESU2, and then at that point we can start trading on this thing as we normally would by just doing buy and sell orders. You can market in, or buy or sell market orders here if you just wanted to jump in the trade, or if you're more patient and looking to be precise, you can set very precise limits, as I just mentioned. And then if you need to exit your positions, you can do that so and reverse those up here. Or if you don't want to learn a new platform, you don't want to use TradingView, as I mentioned, you can enable that TradingView plugin. And what's really great about that is if we go, let me just pull up TradingView here. 1 second. And move this out of the way. So we can, down here, we can click our trading panel, and we could choose TradingView, and we just log in with our credentials there, and then that will put us, that will automatically show the same thing we have here, but instead allow us to put buy and limit orders right on TradingView. So if you use TradingView as your main platform, you don't ever have to look away to look at a different broker. You can trade right on the chart the same way I was showing by simply just clicking it. And there's a lot of other tools we can use with DOMs and order books and things like that. I just don't have them up here right now. And there's tons of indicators, of course, that you could select from if you did want to use TradingView, but also you can just use the TradingView indicators. So it's a fantastic way to trade. And then if you were to start this for the first time, as I mentioned, it might be worth doing the small account. And then once you pass that small account and grow it, you could even use that to fund a much bigger account and really hit things hard there and start trading with, 20, 30 contracts a day on the minis, which would be very, very profitable if you're a good trader. So I just want to point this out because this is something that helped me tremendously early in my trading career. And I do have a partnership with these guys now, and I do really love their service. And hopefully this helps someone out there that's in a situation where they have very limited funds. Most people can certainly afford $40 a month and can reach their dreams that way of becoming a great trader. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I appreciate you watching.